Welcome to Wisdom's Peaceful Harmony. I'm Dr. Lynette Wiest, and in this video, I am going to talk about toxic communication. You want to be aware of what toxic communication is so that you know if you're doing it or you know if the other person is doing it, because you want to get rid of it. We use communication to build our relationships, and you want to have strong relationships, not weak relationships. And toxic communication is similar to if you're pouring the foundation of a house and there's wood in it. It's going to make a weak house, and you need to pay attention. You need to be aware of what can be a problem so that you can get rid of it, so you can build a strong relationship. So I'm going to talk about what some of these toxic communication styles and patterns are, and a little bit about what to do about them. And then also note there are several videos on the YouTube channel that talk about healthy communication styles and patterns. So if you're interested in those, towards the end of this video, you can subscribe and have access to all of those about healthy communication. And so first I'm going to start with blaming. When you're blaming the other person for a problem, that will be toxic, and you want to really pay attention to, are you blaming them? It does a couple things. It pushes the other person away. No one wants to be blamed or accused. And it also gets rid of your power to do something about it, because when you're blaming the other person, you're saying they have the power about what's going on. So be very careful about that. Blaming another person will create defensiveness, arguments, and possibly even insincere apologies. Also, obviously, you don't want to name call, you don't want to put the other person down, and you don't want to attack the other person with your words. You want to attack the problem. If you're talking about a problem with somebody, you want to attack the problem, not the person. Name the problem, identify it, so that you both are focused on the problem, not being against each other, because you want to bring that other person in to cooperate with you about the problem. So a person is not the actual name of the problem. Name the problem. You don't want to be aggressive or forceful with your message. You want to be assertive. You want to present your information, present your truth in a self-respecting way that also respects the other person. And there is a whole video about assertiveness, so look for that if you would like. Don't be aggressive. It's forceful, and it has very little power, if any at all, and you may lose the other person. You want to make sure that you're treating the other person as an equal. If you don't treat them as an equal, they're going to know it, and you're going to lose them from that communication. Make sure that you're staying focused. If you're not staying focused, then again, the communication is going to get confusing, and you're not going to be able to sort of meet the goal of the communication or get your message heard clearly. Don't make threats. Threats are poison. Threats are they push the other person away. They can create fear. So you want to make sure that whatever it is that feels like it's tempting to you to be threatening about, don't make a threat. Again, name the problem and express it to the other person. You don't want to be disrespectful, obviously, and you don't want to be rude or thoughtless. If you are feeling heated and overwhelmed in emotion, don't withdraw from the conversation just without saying something, because this is it's an opportunity moment. If you just withdraw, it's toxic. So if you withdraw, it's poisonous. If you use this as an opportunity, you can tell the other person, this connection, this communication is really important to me. I'm feeling that I need a timeout so that I can go gather myself to come back to this conversation so that I can be productive, because I really want to have this conversation, but I do need a timeout to make myself to be able to be my best for this. If you use the timeout, make sure you know it's your responsibility to come back to the conversation. You don't want the other person chasing you around, because to get you back, that's going to be a problem, and neither one of you is going to like that. So it may be that you say, I'm going to take time out, I'm going to come back in 20 minutes, and then let's reevaluate if it's time yet to continue or not. Doing something like that, that is love. That's good. It makes a connection. You want to be connecting with the other person, not being toxic. Another example of something not to do is arguing with the other person's feelings. This invalidates what they're going through for you. It tells them that you don't value their feelings. Their feelings are their feelings. So if you say, you shouldn't feel that way, that's toxic on two levels. First, you're saying that they shouldn't feel that way when they do. It's just the truth. So by saying that, your words are pointless. And then secondly, by saying you shouldn't feel that way, that's what's called a you message. It sounds like you think you're the expert on the other person, and you're not, and they know you're not. You want to let the other person talk about themselves. You talk about yourself. So don't tell them how to feel or how not to feel. Share how you feel. By sharing how you feel, you're using healthy communication. And those are called I messages. Again, there's a whole video about I messages. Be careful of this, because in our culture, we use lots of you messages. They're the expert on themselves. You are not. Now, also, be careful that you are not mind reading. If you think you can read someone else's mind, you're wrong. You do not want to be telling the other person what they're thinking or what they're feeling. You don't want to tell them why they're doing what they're doing. That just shows them that you're not listening. You want to ask questions, ask them questions, because otherwise, when you're saying you shouldn't do this or that, or this is why you're doing this or that, they're going to shut down. They don't want you to think you're the expert on them. So it's a huge turnoff. Be careful about that. You also don't want to talk too loudly. You don't want to talk all over the other person's head. You do not want to beat around the bush. If you find yourself beating around the bush or avoiding giving a direct message, that you're kind of hiding what your real truth is, you may be being passive. You don't want to be passive. You want to be assertive. So again, look for the information about assertiveness if you find that you're beating around the bush or you're not being direct. You also don't want to one-up the other person. They will know that you are doing that, and they'll feel uncomfortable, and they'll remove themselves. And then lastly, and very importantly, you want to be aware of what is called a win-lose trap. This is when someone is trying to win or prove that the other person is wrong, rather than communicating your thoughts and feelings. So you want to ask yourself, do I want to share my thoughts and feelings and learn about the other person's thoughts and feelings, or do I just want to try to prove myself and prove my position no matter the cost to the relationship? And realize again, if you are doing that, the relationship's going to break. At least at that point, it'll break. And so your communication isn't even going to come across. So if you think you're going to prove something, you can't prove something to nobody. So you want to have a cooperative relationship so they can hear you, and then they can take your information and decide what they want to think about it. Ask yourself, what is my intention? Again, if you're in this win-lose trap, what is my intention in this exchange? Do I want us to understand each other? So asking intentions, I did a whole video about your communication intentions. Ask yourself, what is my intention here? So as far as that win-lose trap goes, know that the win-lose trap, it promotes distance and conflict and Healthy communication promotes understanding and closeness. I hope this information has been useful to you. If you would like to be sure to see more videos, please press the subscribe button. Welcome.